Thanks, Adam. Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming tonight. I will call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Public Works this April 27, 2021. First up, we have messages from the board. Any messages from the board tonight?
Just want to say appreciation and thank you for everyone that worked so hard in the city to keep it beautiful and on this beautiful day. Thank you all.
Thanks, Beth. Okay, next up we have opening of sealed bids and quotes, but I think we did that yesterday during the work session.
Yes, that was done during the work session, and we will look to award a bid at the May 10th meeting. So
great, thank you. Alrighty, petitions and remonstrances. This is an opportunity if there's anyone that has any public comment on anything that's not on the agenda tonight. We could hear that now.
You're on mute, Adam.
Yep. Carol Canfield, you can unmute and offer public comment.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Okay.
Yes.
I just came from the Parks and Rec meeting, so this is fresh on my mind. I wanted to discuss the Lower Cascades Road closure. This is not a realistic time to be conducting this pilot this last year. We're in the middle of a pandemic. We do not have the events in town which bring the traffic that we always get, and especially on the north end of town, and especially as more roads have been closed with the opening of I-69. So my questions are, how are residents such as myself who lives in Blue Ridge, how are we supposed to get out of our addition with this road closed? That is our one route that we can actually have access to anywhere else in town. By going through the park and coming out on the other side of the bypass. How are emergency vehicles supposed to maneuver this? How are emergency vehicles supposed to go into the park if this road is closed? You're shutting off a great deal of the community, the older people. I'm a senior citizen. I have more ambulatory issues now than I once did. My husband does as well. I'm not alone. We can't access the park the way we once did. We want to enjoy the park too, and I don't see how this is considered inclusive when it's disabling people from being able to enjoy the park who otherwise would be able to go through. People rely on cars to get from point A to point B. They take their children with them. Cars are not people unfriendly. You know, I mean, there's no reason why pedestrians, bikers, and cars can't coexist. Why can't we all enjoy the park? You're cutting out specific people by closing this road. I don't know why we can't improve on the bike path that's already there and make it better. Extend it, do what you need to do. But don't cut out a whole segment of people from using the park. We want to enjoy it just as much. What are you going to do when families want to have large reunions and they have to carry a lot of things in? What do you do with graduation parties and such when the catering companies can't get their vehicles into the shelters now? This needs to be revisited, and it needs to be not hurried up because you've got a 2023 deadline to use whatever monies were given in this grant. It needs to be thought out. It needs to be observed in a non-pandemic time when we have realistic traffic in this town. And anybody who lives on the north side understands, you know, this problem that we have when we continue to shut down more roads. We're not lacking for places to go and be entertained, but we are lacking for access getting through the north side of Bloomington when we need to. So I just want to keep hammering this issue because it's not realistic and it's not fair to those of us who are not as ambulatory as we once were. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Canfield.
Dana, if I may, can I just follow up? Ms. Canfield, you asked several questions there. Staff will certainly pass those along to the appropriate parties to seek some answers. We're still in the pilot phase. There have been no final decisions made on what the future of the roadway will be. There will be a time that comes in June. We will take input from all members of the public, all user groups, all input will be welcome. We will likely take a recommendation from the administration to the board that will be based on all of those levels of input. So we appreciate you coming tonight and offering comment, and we certainly appreciate you doing so. Thank you, Dana.
Thanks, Adam. So just to follow up real quick, will the next time that this board gets an update be that June timeframe, or should we get an update prior to that?
We could seek an update at our next work session 2 weeks ago yesterday. We'll ask Parks and the Planning and Transportation folks to provide an update on where they expect things to head and what timeframes they would likely be coming at.
Okay, I think that'd be nice to hear.
April, can you just make note of that, please? Thank you.
I will. Thank you.
Awesome. Any other petitions, remonstrances at this time from members of the public?
I don't see any, and there's nothing in the chat.
Alrighty, thanks. Okay, next up is the consent agenda. On the consent agenda, we have the approval of minutes from April 13th, 2021. Resolution 2021-09, member or mobile vendor solicitor's license for the Seedlings truck. Resolution 2021-11, renewal of mobile vendor in the public right-of-way for Big D's Barbecue. Resolution 2021-12, mobile vendor in the public right-of-way for Bloomington Bowls. Resolution 2021-13, the Woolery Farmers Market. 3rd Street and Indiana Avenue intersection improvements project, the license agreement with IU trustees, and approval of payroll. Is there anything that needs to be removed from the consent agenda tonight? Any comments from board members or questions from board members on the consent agenda?
I don't have anything.
Okay, any public comment on consent agenda? Hearing and seeing none, do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
And I second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. Next up is new business. First up is the lane and sidewalk closures on South Leonard Springs and Curry Pike.
Hi, Mike Stewart here with Engineering Department. Duke Energy is requesting the use of the right-of-way on South Leonard Springs and our little section of Curry Pike. This is to replace the poles along that, as well as a few other miscellaneous infrastructure and tree clearing wherever they need to clear trees. Their expected start date is mid-June 2021, and this will go through March of 2022. It will also kind of coincide with some work in the county on their section of Fullerton Pike, and then the state over on 45 there. We're anticipating there to be lane closures whenever they are replacing a pole, as well as sidewalk closures wherever there are sidewalks there, which that's a fairly broken amount of sidewalk. There isn't a huge continuous stretch. And yeah, I think today we have Brandon Haggerty, who's the technical expert, if there are any questions from the board.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from the board?
I have a comment. I know this is a very big project, and it's, I guess, just to strengthen the Rockport grid, and I think it's related to a new factory called Phoenix Packaging. I just Googled it today, and they have one facility in Greencastle, Indiana. Is this going to be a new building, or is this going to be a refurbished building, existing building?
Hello. So they're actually taking over the old Otis factory building up on Curry Pike.
All right.
And we're just feeding them a new circuit into that.
Yes, yeah, it's just a big project to support them. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
And would you just state your name for the record, whoever just spoke?
Yes, Brandon Haggerty.
And you're with Duke Energy, is that right?
Correct.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions or comments from the board?
I was just going to reiterate what we discussed during the work session, that the coordination between the Duke team and the city has been really good up to this point, and that, looking forward, since we're not totally sure what events might lie ahead for us in the summer and the fall, as well as, I suppose, potentially early spring, just continuing that coordination with the city, knowing that we might have some heavy traffic times if we have events at the fairgrounds or other places there on that side of town.
Great, thanks. Any public comment on this item?
I don't see any.
All righty. Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve lane and sidewalk closures on South Leonard Springs and Curry Pike.
And I second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. Okay, next up we have revised public improvements letter of credit estimate for Ivy Chase subdivision phase 1.
Hi, this is Emily Herr with the engineering department. This is to approve the revised public improvements letter of credit for Ivy Chase subdivision phase 1. This property is located on South Walnut Street Pike at 3111 South Walnut Street Pike between East Heather Drive and East Allendale Drive. Phase 1 of the project will construct a public road, sidewalks, and a new multi-use path off of South Walnut Street Pike, in addition to street trees and water, storm, and sanitary infrastructure throughout the site. The secondary plat for phase 1 of the Ivy Chase subdivision was approved by the board on March 18, 2008, under case DP 3407, and was recorded on April 2, 2008. The undeveloped property subsequently transferred ownership from Jeffrey Jones to Walnut Pike Development LLC in 2021. Due to a significant time delay in construction, staff requested a revised cost estimate to reflect current construction costs for all of the public improvements for the project in order to replace the current letter of credit, which expires February 26, 2022. The revised letter of credit estimate was submitted and reviewed and found to be acceptable by city staff. A performance bond estimate for $578,646.88, which is 125% of the accepted estimate, has been provided for board approval.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or comments from the board?
No, I don't think so.
Any public comment on this item? I see something in the chat. Oh, okay. I see Adam shaking his head no.
Nope.
Okay. Great. Okay, do we have a motion on this item?
I move that we approve the revised public improvements letter of credit estimate for Ivy Chase subdivision phase 1.
And I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Next up is addendum number 3 to agreement for consulting services for the 7th Street Bike Lane Improvements Project with American Structure Point, Inc.
Good evening. This is Neil Copper with the engineering department. So this is a project to install physically protected bicycle lanes on 7th Street from the Beeline Trail to Woodlawn Avenue as part of the city's bicentennial bond package. American Structure Point is already under contract to perform the preliminary engineering for the project. This addendum adds services for some unexpected design changes, including updating the bicycle lane geometry, updating additional curb ramps, and late changes to the maintenance of traffic plan. The addendum also removes previously expected services for Rule 5 permitting and additional public meetings. The change results in an overall fee reduction of $11,490 for a new contract not to exceed of $354,517. Staff has reviewed and supports all of those changes.
Thank you, Neil. Any questions from the board? Any public comment on the item?
Not seeing anything.
All right, we have a motion.
I move that we approve addendum number 3 to agreement for consulting services for the 7th Street Bike Lane Improvement Project with American Structure Point, Inc.
And I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Next up is preliminary engineering contract with Bledsoe, Rigger, Cooper, James for Dunn Street 15th through 16th sidewalk project.
Hi, Patrick Durgas for the engineering department. This project was prioritized by City Council Sidewalk Committee and will install a new sidewalk on the west side of Dunn Street from 15th to 16th Street. Project also includes retaining wall design necessitated by the project. Right-of-way acquisition of 3 parcels is anticipated for the project. The design and right-of-way acquisition are funded this year, and construction is not currently funded, but expected to be funded next year. Bledsoe, Rigger, Cooper, James was selected to design this project from the city's on-call engineering consultant list due to their familiarity with the area and experience with this type of project. Total contract amount is set at a not to exceed amount of $40,085. And staff has reviewed this and recommends approval. Available for any questions.
Thank you. Any questions on this item?
I would like to know if the retaining wall goes along the entire length of the sidewalk.
No, I believe it. I'm sorry. I believe it will only be required for the portion just north of 15th Street for a single lot.
Okay, there's a drop off that needs to be.
There's a current retaining wall that we will impact and is not in a condition to keep for this project.
So it's just a replacement of that.
Replacement and possible relocation. It might move slightly closer to the home.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Any public comment? I don't see any. Thank you. Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the preliminary engineering contract with Bledsoe, Rigger, Cooper, James for Dunn Street 50th to 16th sidewalk project.
And I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Thank you. Next up is change order number 1 for the College Mall Road resurfacing project.
Oops, sorry about that. I think I had an old agenda. This is Roy Ayton with the engineering department. On August 4th, 2020, the board awarded a contract to EMB Paving for repaving South College Mall Road from East 3rd Street to East Morris Pike. The amount of the contract was $494,950. The project includes milling the road, resurfacing, and then upgrading the curb ramps to ADA curb ramps, as well as adding a bike lane south of Buick Cadillac along College Mall Road. Funding for the project will be partially paid through a $382,075.51 community crossing grant. The remaining funds will be paid from city local funding. Recently, the city had another project that we were unsuccessful in bidding it out, and that was to replace curb ramps throughout the city of Bloomington, some curb ramps through the city of Bloomington. This change order will add curb ramps at the intersection of College Mall Road and Covenanter Drive. They were originally included in the other project. We wanted to put them into this project. The addition of the curb ramps on the three corners will add $41,591 to the contract for a final contract amount of $536,541. And additionally, we'll be asking for an additional 5 days be added to the contract. Staff has reviewed the change order and we recommend an approval.
Thank you, Roy. And I apologize. I think I skipped over number 5 on new business. So sorry that I was a little out of order, but we'll go ahead and take this one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You could have stopped me from talking. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's my fault. Are there any questions from the board on this item? Any public comment on this item?
I don't see any.
All right. Do we have a motion?
Move that we approve change order number 1 for the College Mall Road resurfacing project.
And I second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. All right, going back to number 5, request from Miller Pipeline to close a lane of South Walnut Street and the adjacent sidewalk.
So this is Paul Kerber with engineering. Miller Pipeline will be completing a gas main replacement on South Walnut Street from just north of Walnut Street Pike to just south of East Miller Drive. And as part of this work, they're requesting daytime lane closures on South Walnut Street. This will be in the right-hand northbound lane. Then they'll also need to close the adjacent sidewalk at the same time they're working. They'll have a pedestrian detour in place, and they plan to get the sidewalk repaired as quickly as possible once they're finished in that area, and then work from the south to the north. I think that's their plan right now. These closures will be in place from June 1st, 2021 to August 2nd, 2021. And so this will be over summer break for MCCSC. And are there any questions?
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
Yeah, in addition to the pedestrian detours, I think I saw in the packet that there were going to be flaggers also.
Yes, I'll have flaggers on site also.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And this only goes till 5, right? They
Yes.
won't be working at night?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll set up during the day and then tear it down before 5.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Any public comment on this item? Hearing and seeing none. Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the request from Miller Pipeline to close the lane of South Walnut Street and the adjacent sidewalk.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thanks.
Thank you. And last up, we have noise permit for Mr. C's Music Studio Student Recital.
Hi, this is April Rosenberger, Public Works. I am submitting, or Mr. Courtney is submitting this noise permit for an outside student recital for his music lesson students. It's going to be on May 23rd from 3 to 4:30 p.m. And we'll have a live band possibly, and a loudspeaker with minimally amplified sound. And Mr. Courtney is here if you have any questions.
Great, thank you, April. Any questions from the board? Okay, any public comment on this item?
Seeing none.
Okay. I don't see any in the chat. Alrighty, do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the noise permit for Mr. C's Music Studio student recital.
And I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Next up, we have staff reports and other business.
Hello again, board. This is Adam Wason, Public Works Director. Not the kind of staff report I ever really want to give or talk about, but wanted to just recognize a few employees of Public Works that have recently passed away and thank them for their service and offer our condolences to their families. Our former employee, Peter Remillard, in our facilities division, unfortunately passed away in Arizona a couple weeks ago. Pete worked in our facilities division with former facilities manager Barry Collins. Super sweet gentleman. Pete was survived by his wife, Nancy, and his two daughters, Amy and Becca, his son, PJ, and as well as adopted family with Chris and Toby Axum. So want to send our condolences to Pete's family, to Nancy, and all of those that knew and loved Pete. Pete was a very, very special individual, talented as can be, could fix anything, and would just help anybody at any given time. So again, our condolences to Peter and his family. We also lost a current Public Works staff member, Lisa Bolin, a week and a half ago now. And want to send our condolences to her fiance, Brad Farkland, her son, Brady, and his wife, Alexa, as well as Lisa's parents, Judy and Richard Taylor. Lisa was a member of the Fleet Maintenance Division and was a valued member of the Public Works team for over, turns out to be over 27 years. She started in 1996, I believe. But Lisa had an unexpected passing, and we all just want to send our condolences to Brad and the family, and the Public Works family is definitely grieving at this time. So to continue with some bad news, I'd also just like to send condolences to Sheldon Kinzer, a sanitation employee who unfortunately lost a son overnight yesterday. Sean Kinzer, and who was the Lawrence County Sheriff's Office dispatcher, had an accident yesterday. So we want to send our thoughts to Sheldon and his family, as well as to Daryl Rubel. Daryl's a street department employee and unfortunately lost a daughter yesterday. And just want to send all of our love to Daryl and his family and those that need it during these really tough times. So hug those close to you. And yeah, so tough days in Public Works. And I appreciate the board and everyone being so supportive in these trying times. I know a lot of staff members were reached out to, and that meant a lot. So thank you to the board and to others, and just with all of their families, and our deepest condolences. So thank you.
Thanks, Adam. Appreciate how hard that is, and thank you for your leadership during these times. Our condolences all go out to those families.
Yeah, thank you, Adam.
Okay, and next up we have approval of claims. Were there any questions on claims tonight? Any public comment on claims?
I see nothing.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve claim $705,668.96.
And I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Enjoy
And
the rest of the day.
yeah, looks like there's nothing else, and I'll call for adjournment. Thank you.
Yes, thanks. Enjoy it. Bye, everybody. See you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.